Hi everybody, this is Black Rhino Ranger doing yet another commentary. This time we'll be looking at 3 videos which were made to celebrate my 10th anniversaries. As in my 10th anniversary of my BRRGames channel on YouTube, my 10th anniversary of being of Black Rhino Ranger on Deviantart, and my 10th anniversary of my Newgrounds animation. So keep them. This is going to be a super long one because my DeviantArt anniversary animation is 15 minutes long. The others are like 7 to 8 minutes long. For this one, for the DeviantArt one, I have some things to say that's mostly to do with the pictures I made rather than the overall video. So I basically had this. So me celebrating my 10 years on DeviantArt, it was mainly to celebrate how many years I've been drawing on DeviantArt from 2009 to 2019. Now here's a little story I have to say. I discovered DeviantArt when I was just looking for some Giganta pictures. Giganta from DC Comics, mainly the Justice League Unlimited version. And, and when I found a video on YouTube that had several fan arts of Giganta, and I asked the person, where'd you get the pictures from? And the person says, I got them on DeviantArt. And I was like, huh, okay, so you got them on DeviantArt. Okay, so I went on DeviantArt and I checked out and I took a peek at so many I took a peek at so many pictures, and I was like, this is, and since I like to draw on the computer, I was like, this is great. I can probably submit some stuff on DeviantArt, and this is the first one I did. I did the nose picking crocodile, which is basically Dial. Well, I have one of my characters, Dial, just picking his nose. That's about it, really. This was my original description. I said he likes to pick his cold-blooded nose. Please keep your bad opinions to yourself because I'm rubbish at drawing realistic things. Keep in mind, fellas, it was in 2009. I was 15. I was a bratty teenager. I did not know any better. So, true masterpiece, I must say. And these are some of the comments I've received. This was one of the earlier comments. It said, if you want to improve, you can make the perfect circle, have shows, and add some shells and highlights to make it a little bit more 3D. And I said, good idea. I did do a remake on that on a later date, but I never stuck with that. And in fact, I just kept drawing whatever I wanted to draw rather than sticking to what the criticisms was like. Anyways, back to the animation. Oh, what happened? Back to sorry. Not that. There's that. Okay, I'll go back to this. So, anyways, without further ado, and also, I hosted a little for the 10th anniversary of me on DeviantArt. I hosted a little competition asking various users to pick their most favorite arts I've made within the past 10 years of my time on DeviantArt from 2009 to 2018, and each about 10 different entries of each year. Yes, and when that was chosen, I later would ask folks to redraw some of my fan arts in any way they want, and I accepted at least 10 of them. Now, some of the users that suggested me, they're either no longer with me because they left, or they revealed some secrets that make me want to distance myself from them. A little John K-ish, let's say. So, anyways, without further ado, let's start the commentary. So the keys are the Skylanders I picked to judge the pictures: Spyro, Gilgar, Trigger Happy, and Eruptor. and they each have their own different opinions. In fact, I'm just going to turn up the volume a little bit.
Some of his old works from 2009 to 2018. Let's begin.
So starting in 2009. So what was?
Fun fact: horses don't have two toes, only one. Black Rhino Ranger only drew this to satirize horse feet.
Now, yeah, that's actual fun fact. Horses only have one toe rather than two toes, like a camel, donkey, or zebra. They're part of a group of animals called the odd-toed ungulates, which includes rhinos and tapirs. Yes. Something like a zebra or a donkey is part of another group of ungulates, the even-toers. Yes, and funny enough, the same family as the even-toed ungulates is, oddly enough, whales. Anyways, that's next up.
Swear there's something familiar about this. It kind of reminds me of two people I know named Abby and Brittany. Maybe it's a snake.
For those who don't know, what I was referring to is an actual real-life group of conjoined twins called Abigail and Brittany Hansel. They were conjoined like how most people draw a two-headed being, like one body, two heads. Abigail and Brittany Hansel are very extremely rare exceptions of being conjoined just like that. Look them up if you have to.
Black Rhino Ranger was such a fan of this franchise, even the sequels. I wonder what Jurassic Park 6 would be like.
I have, well, kind of sluggish. Sorry, Trig. Yeah, I actually did see Jurassic World Dominion, and it was kind of sluggish, and it didn't offer a lot. It was, I still wouldn't say it's bad, but I do consider it the weakest of all the Jurassic Park films. Yeah, in fact, I prefer Jurassic Park 3 more than Jurassic World Dominion. And I found myself enjoying Jurassic World 3 more. In fact, if I had to rate my most favorite of the Jurassic Park films, it'd be Jurassic Park 1, Jurassic World 1, Jurassic Park 3, Jurassic Park The Lost World, Jurassic Park The Fallen Kingdom, and Jurassic World Dominion. Now I heard they are going to make a third batch of Jurassic World films. So what's it going to be called? Jurassic Universe? Jurassic Multiverse even? Have the dinosaurs in space if you have to, or bring back some more dinosaurs. I mean, not dinosaurs. Bring in some Ice Age animals like a woolly mammoth, a saber-tooth, a woolly rhino, or some of the lesser known ones like the Paraceratherium, the Peltophilus, the giant rabbit, a moa, Tasmanian tiger, etc. Or some more ones before the dinosaurs like the Arthropleura, the Cacops, the Hynerpeton or Patrolachosaurus. I mean, you got the Dimetrodon, Lystrosaurus, and the Dunkleosteus in the games. Seems you're on the right track. If they're going to continue the Jurassic Park and milk it even further, just go out insane if you have to. Ooh. And by the way, this picture I made here was originally supposed to be for my Jurassic Park music video with the one by Weird Al Yankovic in my earlier days back in 2009, but never really went anywhere, let's say.
Dial, Black Rhino Ranger's creation in 2006. I wonder what's he gonna do with it.
Yes, in case you're wondering, that is my OC character Dial. Oh, yeah, that's all I have to say about him, really.
Kinda creepy if you ask me. Better done on birds than reptiles.
I don't know why I drew that. I just don't know why I drew that. Maybe it's my attempt to try and make a quote unquote handsome body, like a handsome guy body. I'm very bad at those for some reason. I'm only good. I think I'm only good at drawing gorgeous women, like the hourglass figurine with the big bazookas and something like that. Yeah, call me shallow if you have to, and call me a bit of a simp if you have to, but that's all I'm really good at. Yeah, I'm terrible at drawing hunks.
So I've been informed that this is a 10 breed, kind of like an impossible creature, except instead of two animals, it's 10.
And I say 10 breed as in 10 animals. Let me see if I can get this one correct. Got a nose and whiskers of a mouse, head of a whale, um, um, horns of an ox or cattle, ears of a dog, T Rex hands, kangaroo feet, a body of a mammalian of some sort, dragonfly wings, and a dragon tail. There's only 9, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Or maybe that's another type of nose. I don't know. Maybe I forgot to include something.
Such grace and beauty Black Rhino Ranger's first drawing on Deviantart was. True masterpiece.
My nose picking crocodile one.
Here's another early creation by Black Rhino Ranger, Rhino. He made him when he was 11.
Yeah, that's true. I actually created this guy when I was 11. That was when I started to become more and more into animal characters than human characters. I don't know if it was thanks to Joe Murray with Camp Laszlo, but that's how I started. I became more interested in doing anthropomorphic animals than humans ever since.
I used to do something like that to my pals when I was a kid. In fact, I still kind of do.
I used to. I actually did something like that when I was in high school. Yeah, in high school, I always like to keep doodling and stuff, and a lot of people liked when they said I should make a career out of it. Um, I haven't gone anywhere super far with this ever. I probably should someday.
Black Rhino Ranger enjoyed this comic book series. Even his mother did when she was a young lass.
Yes, that's true. I actually was a big, gigantic fan of Asterix. I have at least 16 different comics of Asterix in my house. I don't know why they're not super. They're very popular in Malaysia, but then I'm not sure why they're not super popular in England or even the U.S. I mean, although it might have something to do with some of the depictions on some of the other human races, like if you're gonna read the Asterix and if you're gonna read the Asterix comics, you have to be very cautious of how they depict the blacks. Let's say the Nubians. They're basically big lips and they're big red lips. Let's say they're not as badly portrayed as how Looney Tunes portrayed them. Like in the Looney Tunes, the Censored 11, some of them were like, "I'm gonna catch me a rabbit." They're cotton picking and watermelon loving and type of things. Yeah, I can see why people wouldn't want to read them. Now they're not as badly portrayed in the Asterix comics, but they are definitely more level headed. But you just got to be cautious about the big red lips. Let's say. Oh yeah, it's an ad. 2010.
Fun fact, Black Rhino Ranger won tickets to a Liverpool exhibition for doing this drawing.
Yeah, that's true. I actually did one. Won tickets for entering a competition in the Wallace and Gromit website for doing some sort of fan art, and I got runner up for this drawing of Odie and Gromit, and I won tickets to an exhibition in Liverpool. I even got a poster of Wallace and Gromit: The Curse of the Were-Rabbit. In fact, when I lived in England, I was gigantic into Wallace and Gromit. And I would do everything that was Wallace and Gromit-ish back then.
I would say make this an actual business, but I heard publishers are picky nowadays. Good thing the publisher's daughter approves J.K. Rowling's work.
That statement couldn't have been any more true. That statement couldn't have been even more true. I mean, how do I say this? That statement is still relevant to this very day because during when the Owl House was still running, We were supposed to get our hands on a Good Witch Azura book series. We were going to have a light novel, like a graphic novel, and explore the world of Good Witch Azura. The publishers, however, refused to comprehend a good amount of money to pay the writers, and every single writer backed out on this deal, and thus the Good Witch Azura book series got canceled. I don't know if we're ever going to get ourselves an Owl House book, unless you're counting those storybook adaptations of episodes like the Witches Before Wizards, and one that was based on I Was a Teenage Abomination and Adventure in the Elements. But I don't know if we're going to get an art book of the Owl House, or even I do hope that we are going to get maybe one day we may have a graphic novel continuation of the Owl House. I mean, on a similar vein to Gravity Falls, The Lost Legends. And by the way, over here, it's a comic of Rhino and Dal just doing a little poop thing. It's basically just copy pasted. It's not really. Maybe I should do this a bit better later on. One more thing. I did make a few more digitalized Rhino and Dal comics, but maybe I should redo them a bit later on.
Never have a slumber party. It always ends in a mess.
I used to once upon a time as a kid. But then I figured I stopped doing them because some of the people snored very weird. I mean, I had somebody in my house who snored like this, just like that. It woke everybody up.
I swear, one of these heads is not like the other. Maybe it's the one with the orange head.
Yeah, it's basically a very goofy Hydra I came up with. And some of them are regular, typical Hydra cartoony things, but two of them are based on some actual characters. One's clearly on Walligator, and the other's based on Goofy.
I don't know how to make out of this. I say he's technorganic.
Technorganic, a phrase first used in Beast Machines, will later be used again in something like Transformers Animated. A hybrid of organic and Cybertronium. And basically, this is just Dal dressing up as Bulkhead. That's it.
I used to do that as a kid, and I never felt pain. Because, purple dragon, impenetrable scales, but even he's not a dragon.
Just my crocodile biting his tail. That's about it, really.
How come we never have an elephant as a Skylander? Is it because of the tusks or the trunk?
That's basically my attempt to draw Mammomax, a member of the Brotherhood of Mutants, the on and off rivals of the X-Men. I already died in the comics after he ended up being lunched to some sort of experimental monster. This is basically my attempt to try and draw him in a quote-unquote style of the Superhero Squad show.
Just like Toy Story and just like this movie, some say that we Skylanders are secretly alive and humans are not around. It's either magic or military processing chips.
It's the small soldiers. My attempt to draw the small soldiers. Over there is Archer, emissary of the Gorgonites, Ocula, Punch It, Scratch It, Insaniac, Slamfist, and Trotlicon, aka Freakenstein. I love that movie so much, I kept rewatching it over and over and over. By the way, rest in peace to the Dirty Dozen actors who voiced the Commandos, the voice of Nick Nitro, Butch Meathook, Brick Bazooka, and Kip Killigan. The ones that are still around today are the ones who haven't been a part of the Dirty Dozen, like Link Static's actor and Tommy Lee Jones as Major Chip Hazard.
Well, they both have heads, and they tend to squiggle a lot. And I heard one is stupid, one is really smart, and the other is very self-centered.
What I've shown here is this is basically my attempt to combine Ed and Eddie with Ed's World, and I basically had the basic understanding of what Ed's World and Ed and Eddie was a bit. I knew who Ed and Eddie were. One is greedy, one is stupid, and the other's really smart. Ed's world was a little bit similar in the earlier days. I mean, Ed was kind of the smart one. Ed and Tom used to be the stupid one, and Matt, while still very vain, he is very egotistical. Nowadays, while still very vain, he becomes less intelligent and more idiotic later. And Tom became a more smart one, and Tom and Ed, he's just more like the everyday man. And as for Todd, he's out of the picture. Remember, because the actor had other things in mind. And fairly enough, that some people have been I do remember the Ed's World crew did make a comic book which satirizes Ed and Eddie later on.
Black Rhino Ranger was a fan of that franchise. That is until 2016 happened.
Basically, my attempt to draw Heat Blast, Forearms, and Gray Matter from Ben 10. I was quite big on Ben 10 as a kid. And, that is until 2016 when the reboot happened. Heck, I actually did enjoy Omniverse, believe it or not. The one where the designs are by Derek J. Wyatt, the same guy who designed Transformers Animated, the 2003 Teen Titans, and Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated. I heard that one was a bit more mixed reactions, but I definitely considered that a lot better than the 2016 Ben 10. I don't know what they're going to do with the franchise now, even though that was one of Cartoon Network's biggest money makers at the time.
Black Rhino Ranger's first drawing of me. And heck, he didn't draw the classic or LOS version of me before.
That's true. I first drew Skylanders Spyro first, before I drew classic Spyro and Legend of Spyro. And although this was my first attempt to draw Skylanders Spyro, I actually combined him with the class. I actually combined his Skylandery look with the classic look. I mean, take a look at this plushie. See, do you think this is a little? Don't you think it has Spyro's square pudgy face, but it's got classic Spyro's horns? Don't you think? Yeah. Although this plushie, I'm like, how come there's no ready bit on those wings? And when I drew Skylander Spyro later on, I had him more of a combo of his classic look and his and a combo design of Spike, the way I draw Spike from My Little Pony Friendship's Magic, let's say.
I thought there was something fishy about those nursery rhymes. They hold a lot of tragic secrets.
With the rise of the Black Lives Matter movement, I wonder how many people are going to boycott the song "Ba Ba Black Sheep Do 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 Do." In fact, there are some things, ever since the Black Lives Matter movement, there are some things that have been changed as a result of that movement. Like, some people vandalized some properties because they had some racial backgrounds, like Penny Lane was vandalized as racist lane. Some of the statues had to be taken down because the people were quite racist at the time. And they even a character from the Mr. Men named Mr. Uppity had to be renamed Mr. Snooty, because the word uppity, which is normally meant to be uptight and snooty and rude and stuff like that, apparently has a hidden meaning back then of knowing your place. Hence why he was renamed to Mr. Snooty. And even though they're in the public domain, I don't know if it's wise to sing something like "I wish I was in Dixie, hooray, hooray," or something like "Jimmy Crack Corn and I don't care, Jimmy Crack Corn and I don't care, Jimmy Crack Corn and I don't care, the master's gone away." Or Countdown Lady sing his song, even because a lot of these songs are minstrel show acts, popularized by artists like Al Johnson, the mamma type of thing. Okay, before I bring up any more controversial stuff, let's move on.
I'd hate to be in his shoes on Christmas. I would burn the teddy bear myself.
Now, this is one of the few times where I had to use that pan thingy, because to show the full picture, you're unable to read these little words. So what Trigger Happy was reading earlier is a Mortal Kombat Super Deformed book. Basically, my attempt to superhero squadify Mortal Kombat by having it a little bit more chibified and a little bit more suitable for kids. And basically, Scorpion, in this comic, Scorpion has been good all Christmas, and Sub-Zero, acting as Santa Claus, gives him a present, and Scorpion thought he would get a present he wanted for Christmas. And then suddenly, as he opened the present, it was a teddy bear, referencing that thing that Mortal Kombat 9 challenge, where Melina tries to convince Scorpion to get a teddy bear, but he doesn't accept. This would later be referenced again in Mortal Kombat 11 during Scorpion's friendship. Anyways, once he opens the package, he says, "This is not the present I wanted. I wanted a bag of coal for Christmas." While Sub-Zero says, "But you are on the good list this year. Coal is for the bad ones. I think I'll start my badness again, starting with you." And then he goes to Toasty. He's about to burn Scorpion alive.
You want to know how Black Rhino Ranger got onto Deviantart in the first place? It's all in the description under the image.
It's just my character Rhino, but it is true. It's all in the description of this picture, and like I said, it was thanks to my love for Giganta from Justice League Unlimited that got me into DeviantArt in the first place.
Sorry we couldn't get any female Skylanders to react to these images. I wonder how they would react to BRR's first attempts to draw.
If I had a female partner with me, like a co-worker who's on my side, I probably would ask her to voice some of the characters' reactions to the female reactions. I record the line, I write the lines, they record, and probably have them react to something like that. Or maybe I can ask them to write their own lines, write their own reactions. How do they actually feel about my drawings, let's say? They can be very honest if some of them are a bit dodgy, or maybe I'm a little bit shallow with some of them, like how I drew most females, but etc. Anyways, what was I? You know what's young, scrappy, and hungry means? It's a line from Hamilton. And here's my first attempt to draw Gil Grunt.
Where are my pants?
Yeah, I forgot to give Gil Grunt some pants for that part. Anyways,
kind of unstable.
My first attempt to draw Trigger Happy. I'm still proud of that picture.
I heard Black Rhino Ranger made this guy based on something he made in Spore, using dark Spore mods.
No, really, it was back then when I was really into Spore at the time, and I kind of still am. I used to install this mod called Dark Spore, where I have the Spore. Yeah, where I had some Dark Spore parts. Since I was unable to play the Dark Spore game at the time, I basically asked there was a mod where they allow you to include some Dark Spore mods onto Spore, and you can use their mouths, their hands and stuff, their customizations. So you can make your own version of that flamey head guy with a fiery hand, let's say. And in fact, I used those Dark Spore mod parts to make some characters for my Dark Spore Wars, which is basically my Spore parody of Star Wars. I don't know if I'm going to do a Spore Wars parody with The Force Awakens, The Last Knight, The Rise of Skywalker, Solo, or Rogue One, or even some of the TV series like The Mandalorian or Book of Boba Fett. But I'll probably think of something about that in the future. So, what does Spar react here?
I got no reaction. Seriously, I don't.
Just Cinder. That's it.
Black Rhino Ranger loves to chibify things, don't he? They say a certain Marvel show inspired him to do so.
That is true. The Superhero Squad show, believe it or not, did play a bit of a big inspiration for me. It's why instead of usually having 4 or 5 fingers on characters, almost every character I draw has only 4 fingers, especially the ones that normally have only 5, like Transformers, the Owl House, the other Marvel properties, etc. And over here, I drew Deadpool, Iron Man, and Spider Man because I often used to play Marvel versus Capcom 3 Fate of Two Worlds, and my biggest picks were Spider Man, Deadpool, and Iron Man. It's a pity Deadpool did not appear in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. If they make a Marvel vs. Capcom 5, please extend the roster to a massive degree, kind of like Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, if you have to. 2012.
Since when did Stump Smash get a haircut? Or even hair? Maybe it's a toupee.
Basically just Applejack, the Stump Smash thing. I think that was a request or something. Hey, Applejack Bucking Stump Smash with the tree and the apples. He's got an apple wig thing. Although I mostly have Stump Smash interact with Fluttershy. It was based on a crossover parody of Skylanders and My Little Pony I remember seeing as a kid when I was younger.
Man, they can barely see me. I kinda look like an insect.
This was basically my attempt to try and make a Skylanders picture. I wanted to include more Skylanders, but I ran out of time. In fact, it was basically my rush. I was kind of rushing myself to make this picture for Facebook, Skylanders Facebook. We see here we have Spyro, Chaos with a back of souls, Trigger Happy upside down. Spyro is having a Santa hat with cola. Stump Smash has a Christmas tree wig. Pop Fizz is doing the decorations. Terrafin and Eruptor were Maze. Hot Dog's got a little present in his mouth. Mash is carrying a present. Jetvac is just looking. Tree Rex is the Christmas tree. And Gilgron's hanging the decorations. And Trigger Happy's upside down. And there's the ghost of Master Eon with the Santa hat.
Remind me to do the same thing for my girlfriend. Although flowers don't mix well with the sea.
I don't know if this was requested, but it's kind of. I always find it cute that Flame Singer and Stealth Elf are paired. Just like Hex and Fright Rhino, I find it cute to be
I
paired.
want to see an alien hammerhead shark. Then again, he is kind of cute.
This guy is named I, as in one is spelled with just an I, and the other is Eye. He is basically a character I originally made for Rhino and Dal, and he's part of a group of aliens called the Adventurous Aliens, where they go to Earth seeking for adventure. They want to explore the galaxy and the universe, and they also want to explore the Earth and understand its culture and study everything. Bring back some souvenirs or something like that. And I thought was just one of the cuter characters I came up with.
I heard this bird was extinct for like 1,000 years. I wonder what species Big Bird is.
This is my attempt to draw an elephant bird. The heaviest bird on the planet. It became extinct. It was a creature from Madagascar. It became extinct 300 or 400 years ago, I believe.
I heard Black Rhino Ranger had a nightmare which caused him to draw this. He probably would give me nightmares too.
Basically, no. It actually did. I actually did have a nightmare at one point, and that caused me to draw something like this. I was visiting some sort of a Chinese temple place, and there was a big building which resembled like a something that was like a cross between a Chinese dragon and the dragon form of Maleficent. That was what I think it was in.
They say dogs are a myth.
Yeah, I think it was in England. I'm not sure if it was in England or Malaysia, but it did happen, that dream.
His best friend. How about a lop?
Wait, let me just rewind that bit again.
Black Rhino Ranger had a nightmare which caused him to draw this. He probably would give me nightmares
dogs are a man's best friend. How about a lava monster's best friend?
My first attempt to draw a hot dog, and yes, I often pair him with the Eruptor as the dog and his owner, the man best friend, the Wallace to the Gromit.
Huh? Why so grumpy, princess? Oh wait, this was before she had wings.
Believe it or not, this picture I made was supposed to be my part of a picture I made, which is basically my Skylanders and My Little Pony parody of Street Fighter X Tekken. I had the Skylanders play the role of Street Fighter, and the My Little Pony characters playing the role of Tekken. It's an idea that's been stuck in my head, and I still want to try and have the My Little Pony characters dress up as the Tekken characters. And one perfect example I'm having is Twilight Sparkle as either Kazuya or Jin, and her alicorn form, or even her Midnight Sparkle form from Equestria Girls plays Devil Kazuya or Devil Jin. Or maybe Sunset Shimmer should be Jin, and she takes the form, and her demon Sunset form takes the form of Jin, the Devil Jin.
Just me getting myself ready for combat. That's all. Cindy
That's the same picture from the Street Fighter X Tekken Skylanders My Little Pony parody.
says you have to trim him or bite him? Remind me never to let him near chocolate.
In the same picture, that's also part of the Street Fighter X Tekken Skylanders My Little Pony picture. Now to 2013.
Who is she? The princess of mail delivery? She doesn't even have a horn yet.
This is based on how most people interpreted Derpy as the mailman, as the mail mare, and that became true in the episode Slice of Life. It also happened in Pony Life, believe it or not. And Humpback is kneeling down and bowing to her as a reference to the Skylanders Easter surprise commercial where he was hiding in the mailbox saying, "Hail to the mail," as a reference to his catchphrase, "Hail to the whale."
If you pay attention to Black Ranger's animations, you notice there are some fine art parodies lying about. Here's an example.
Yes, like I said, like Railgun said, I did base these pictures on some fine arts, and I'm still discovering more and more as I go to several art museums. This one is of course based on The Last Supper. Although people have been saying to me, who's the one who murdered or something like that. Yeah, and Spyro is obviously Jesus.
Fun fact, this was featured in the official Skylanders Boomcast video on YouTube. Thankfully, it wasn't bloody.
Yes, this picture I made was actually a submission for the Skylanders Boomcast video competition that was happening on YouTube. It was hosted by Zachary Gordon, who had a role in Diary of the Wimpy Kid. The live action movies. This was before it became fully animated, and they became more like the comics, sometimes a bit to the fault, but never mind. So what I drew is I drew this and I submitted this on Facebook, and the people the Skylanders people like, do you want this featured on Skylanders Boomcast? I was like, okay, and Zach is like, did the Skylanders got the things all separated? Don't worry, thanks for submitting, Azran. And and I even made an animation that reacted to that with Countdown.
I swear in one incarnation he sounded very familiar. There's also a familiarity with the website.
So basically, I had Spyro as Green Lantern over here. This is referencing to the fact that Josh Keaton voiced both Spyro in Skylanders 1 to 5 and Green Lantern in the animated series. And I also mentioned a web slinger. This is clearly a nod to Josh Keaton's other role of Spider-Man in several of the late 2010s and late 2000s and late 2010s.
I should remind you all to finish up our university story. People have been dying for the third part.
Yes, I'm still working on Skylanders University, but currently my computer's out code. In the meantime, here's a picture of Rudy Fruity, one of my OC characters of Skylanders University. He's part of a group of Skylanders who specialize on cannibalizing each other. He is currently clearly on fruits and vegetables, and his catchphrase, "Fruit you."
One's an anteater, the other's an elephant. How come none of those heads were available in Imagineers?
Basically, my air Skylanders. Let me showcase to you who they are again.
One's an anteater, the other's an elephant. How
So let me see if I can remember who's who. One of them is named Air Eater, the other is Smoke Bomb, the other is Fanaphant, and the other is Glizzard, I think. If I can remember correctly, Air Eater's ability is to vacuum, is to suck things up with his snout, like a vacuum. Smoke Bomb, he basically just throws smoke bombs and disappears. Fanaphant can hover with his feet and he can sneeze really big. He like a achoo! And there's Glizzard, and basically his powers are just gliding. I didn't think too deeply with these characters. Maybe I should upgrade them later.
come none of those heads were available in Imagineers?
And he's right. No elephant or anteater type of head was available. I mean, the closest is either that squid face or the warthog.
Black Rhino Ranger, you are looking fine. Well, his mascot, that is.
Just one of my drawings of my mascot.
I wish I could hug him, but man, is he so spiky. But man, is he adorable.
My first attempt to draw Popthorn.
It's a shame I didn't get a Series 4 after this. Wonder what my power would be like.
Yeah, apparently they were supposed to include some more Series 4 Skylanders for Trap Team. I mean, not just Gilgrunt. Cinder was supposed to have them, but apparently she got scrapped for some reason. I think they wanted to make room for the Eons Elite, save some costs on that part. But I still think that they should have included just 3 more Series 4s. Maybe one for Tech, one for Undead, and one for Earth. But I mean, for season 4, it's of Tech, it's an obvious choice for Trig. But the other season 4, since there are two season 3s. He's from Swap Force of Earth and Undead, Chop Chop, Cinder, Bash, and Terrafin. It's kind of quite difficult to decide who gets to have the Series 4. I mean, I can see Cinder having a Series 4 thanks to that figure prototype, but then again, Chop Chop is the more popular one, hence why he got Neon's Elite. And what else is there? Is it Bash or Terrafin? I'm having a feeling Terrafin might be the big pick for a Series 4. He's the more popular one, but I could see some people missing Bash more. Anyways, moving on.
Guys, I think I spotted an error in this one, where there's supposed to be 2 thorns, or that thorn was not supposed to be there.
And I never fixed that error ever since. And it's a bit outdated because back then I had these coloring parts where the characters look a little pixelated whenever I color. It was an old thing back then. Thanks to Crystal Blazer with that criticism, I was able to fix that error with the rest of my animation, with the rest of my drawings, as well as getting a new software like Adobe Photoshop. Break time, and I'm using the Ed, Ed, and Eddie title cards music. So what are they having what are they having as a break? Yogurt's having a peanut butter sandwich, Spiral's having a hamburger, Eruptor's having noodle soup, Trigger Happy's having chicken, and Jetpack's having cheese and crackers, Gromit.
I always hated peanut butter. Perhaps I should consider keto bread.
I never enjoyed the taste.
You keep wolfing it down instead of chewing. Okay, break time over.
Then why did I make them like this? 2014, here we go. Basically, ever since Pop Fizz got a alter ego in Skylanders Lost Islands, and Trigger Happy had a springtime counterpart in Swap Force, I decided to poke fun of the fact that Sonic Boom still has her children in those eggs. Include some green, and I would have perhaps made an LGBTQIA plus egg. Is it intersex?
If he can figure out how to operate his helicopter back, surely he can figure out how to brush his teeth.
Yes, making a joke about the fact that T-Rex's arms are so short, I'm not sure how they can use to brush their teeth. It's some it is common to poke fun of the T-Rex's tiny arms, but the reason why they're so short is that the T-Rex is that it's to help him balance with his head and the legs and stuff. So it's its mouth that can carry the weight load. That's the shorts the fingers. They say its only usage is perhaps to pick the T-Rex up if he's lying on the floor.
I remember when BRR made up his own villains long before all the villains were revealed in Trap Team. Though this one does remind me of Blaster Tron.
Yeah, I actually came up with this villain probably of the light element where he launches sparks, kind of like how Engine launches sparks in Crash Bandicoot Warp with his robot. Never did anything else with him ever since.
I am jealous. He gets the best flavors. Then again, I am lactose intolerant.
Well, he is a lava monster. I don't think he can take cold stuff. See, what flavors do he got? He's got mint, chocolate, strawberry, vanilla, and cream with a chocolate flake and a cherry on top. Wrecking Ball's like, can't we share?
Technically, Trap Team reminds me more of Ghostbusters, but a lot of people keep comparing this to Trap Team.
Yeah, it's something I thought so as well. When I first saw Trap Team, I was thinking about Ghostbusters. Is you're trapping villains in these traps, kind of like the ghost traps, like the Ghostbusters. They did the traps. I even did a little music video of the trap of Skylanders with the Extreme Ghostbusters theme song. And a little fun fact: some of the Extreme Ghostbusters voice actors had a role in Skylanders, like Eduardo's voice actor did Scorp. The girl's voice actor did Flashwing. Egon's voice actor did Night Shift, and Slimer's voice actor did Firecracken, Freeze Blade, and Food Fight and Rocky Roll. But a lot of people say, it reminds me more of Pokemon. In fact, I was thinking about doing a Skylander version of the Pokerap. I've been listing it for so many years. It just never went anywhere.
So that's where I heard the shortened term for self-photographic portraits. It was in the comments. Kids these days.
No, actually, this is true. The first time I heard of the word selfie was in the comments section. I was when I made this picture of Snapshot and Traps having a snapshot of themselves. People on the internet said, "Dude, it's a selfie." I was like, "What? What's a selfie?" But then I learned it was added in the dictionary. The word selfie was added in the dictionary in late 2013. I was like, "Oh, so that's where they got it from." And oddly enough, the selfie thing would later be used in Skylanders Imaginators, these selfie spots. Yeah. And also, this picture I made was basically inspired by how Boogeyman took a picture of himself with the Grim Reaper in Billy and Mandy's Big Boogie Adventure.
Why wasn't I invited to that?
And also, it was meant because Trap Shadow, despite the name, he is not a Trap Master, and despite his name and his weapon being translusive and stuff like that, he is not a Trap Master. But I can imagine him being a big fan of the Trap Masters.
And again,
So what was that thing? So what was that thing Gilgrant said again?
Why wasn't I invited to that game? And again, gambling is questionable in kids' games.
Basically, Chop Chop, Boomer, Starstrike, Popthorn, Dynarang, Slam M, Hoot Loop, and and Riptide playing poker. Based on the fact that he actually did play poker in the Skylanders beginning trailer and the cards game trailer. Look him up. Also, there's a clock based on Twilight Sparkle's pet owl, Owlicious. It was also supposed to be based on the dogs playing poker picture, but doesn't look quite like that.
No. Please, get it off screen. Must I remind people for who I really am?
I often like to joke about the fact that Trigger Happy is a noseless rabbit. In fact, I thought that's what he was when I was younger, but it turns out he was a gremlin.
My old chum back at Skylanders University, which was fan-made, by the way. I have heard he had a makeover.
Yes, that was. I basically I gave him a makeover where he has the ability to add and subtract his own heads and also color his heads, and each head's color represents a different type of personality. For example, a deadly sin, let's say, Lil Hydra, that's his name. The gold one is greed, the pink one is lust, red one is anger or wrath. I think the purple one is pride. The green one is envy, the orange one is gluttony, and the blue one is sloth.
That is my number one most hated vegetable in the world. I prefer green peppers.
What I said is a reference to Inside Out, how internationally they switch things like instead of broccoli in America, it's green peppers in Japan. Heard it's seaweed in the Pingu universe. And also, this picture was featured on Facebook by the Skylanders people. And there's also a reference to the Powerpuff Girls with the broccoli episode. And in fact, Professor Utonia says the only way to get rid of them is to eat them all up. And he says, if the broccoli is your enemy, eating it would defeat your enemy. Common kids thing. While Broccoli Guy's like, I like to toy with the cannibalisms and stuff in Skylanders.
I should have been more aware of where they came from and what their age difference is compared to here. But in the comics, they act like children.
Now, this is referencing to the fact that some people say that the mini Skylanders are either kids, and they might be just little brothers or little cousins of the Skylanders, or maybe they're nephews. They can't really be sons and daughters. Nephews or nieces would be more appropriate. In fact, some of the people who made Skylanders, they're like, Spry is probably Spyro's little brother or cousin. But in actuality, they're from a different universe, the Miniverse, and they got stranded into Skylanders, and later they got promoted to be started off as sidekicks, but later became promoted to Mini Skylanders, capable of fighting by themselves. And I was like, and even then, how do they reach the pedals on the hot streak, or the burn cycle, or other vehicles? Yeah, that's a good question. I know Hugo hates sheep, but is he alright with eating lamb?
BRR's first drawing of the big bad guy of Skylanders. The comics, that is.
Also with the sheep thing, I was also I made another picture where I had sheep creep eating meat. I was like asking myself, oh, so that's why the villains don't eat in Skylanders Trap Team. Some of them are vegetarians, like sheep creep. But then again, some Skylanders are based on vegetarian animals, like Rhino, Trailblazer, trying to think what other. Heck, there's even Free Ranger is capable of eating chicken. And, and also, what was this one again?
Does he like to eat them? BRR's first drawing of the big bad guy of Skylanders. The comics, that is.
Yep, this is my attempt to draw the Skylander version of Malefor, the big bad dragon, the one of Spyro's greatest adversaries before Chaos. The monstrous adoptive father of Cinder, and someone who also cursed Hex into becoming the undead elf Fushi, who we all know, and etc. Imagine him interacting with Chaos. I don't remember if he interacted with if Malefor interacted with Chaos in the Skylanders Academy show. Oh, I mean, he must have had some interaction with Strikecore, right? And imagine them having a team up or something, like combine them all into one or something. So from what I've understood, the reason, although Malefor was definitely made in the comics, they say they didn't want to include him in the games because he was too serious. He was too serious. It just wouldn't be fun to include him in Skylanders, whose primary purpose is to be a comedic game series. I mean, Ripto is meant to be comedic, and Nasty Nork was meant to be comedic, and even the Sorcerers can get some laughs. I think they would fit better when they team up with Chaos or against him. Malefor, I think he's what funny. I mean, they do try to make him funny in the Skylanders Academy show, where he has an obsession with tacos. But here with this design, I think he would be a little too scary for the game. Let's say. The most serious one, I think, is the Darkness or the Concatron. But even then, he has a bit of a comedic flair. Anyways, where was I? And by the way, fellas, in case you're wondering, I have both Malefors in my animations, the Academy one and the comic book one. And you're probably wondering, who's the real Malefor? Is it this one, or is it the Academy one? Although I have used this one more, especially in my Double Dragon Decade, which I will do a commentary on later. I will do something with the Academy Malefor later. And I heard the Academy Malefor was supposed to be in Skylanders Ring of Heroes, but the game got scrapped. They stopped updating the game and they closed it down in 2022 before that could even happen.
Me trying to keep in touch with my old chums, and this was 3 years before the remastered Old Adventures.
Yeah, just feeling bad about the classic Spyro fans, I decided to draw them once again and have them chat with Skylander Spyro with Sugar Happy and Gilgrunt. Also, you may notice that let me just go back for a little bit.
Me trying to keep in touch with my old chums.
You notice the coloring is a bit off over here. It's because back then I had a brand new computer because the previous one and I had a bit of problems with due to a cockroach squishing and a water spillage. I had to get a new one, had to install a new software instead of using my old Fireworks software. And I had to constantly fiddle around with the color palettes, let's say. And with my new laptop, which is currently unavailable, I still need to get a repair. I hope it will be repaired. Don't make me buy a new one, please. I'm still fiddling around with the coloring schemes because the saved ones I had in my previous one are all gone.
Years before the remastered Old Adventures. Fun fact, these guys were supposed to be guests for Skylander Superchargers. Instead, we ended up with a big ape and a big turtle monster.
So yeah, before we got Donkey Kong and Bowser for Skylander Superchargers, the people was originally supposed to have Kirby, considering Kirby, Peach, and Star Fox. Now the reason why they didn't is because Kirby wasn't fully owned by Nintendo. It was also owned by HAL Laboratory, and they couldn't secure the rights back then. They wanted to make Peach a warrior princess, but they thought we way out of character for Peach. Back then, she was just meant to be the damsel in distress. And so to keep in mind, this was before the Super Mario Brothers movie, where she became more capable of defending herself and stuff. And people, for some reason, are upset that she's no longer the pretty damsel in distress, and she can now kick butt. And then we have Star Fox. The reason why they didn't include him is because they wanted to make a new game and they didn't want to confuse Star Fox with the releases at the time. So they ended up choosing Donkey Kong and Bowser later on. And if you were wondering, my guesses for what element would they be in, Kirby would be air, Peach would be magic, and Fox would probably be tech or light. And Kirby and Fox would probably be the air vehicles, and Peach would probably be land.
I got nothing to say. It's all said in the picture.
In reference to George Takei when he read the 50 Shades of Grey book, and he constantly said, "Oh my." If Gilbert Gottfried had a role in Skylanders, I probably did something like that. But unfortunately, he's gone, and even when Skylander, he didn't have a single role in Skylanders when it was a thing, and when he passed away before he could do anything Skylanders related. Very sad.
This was made based on something about devouring Skylands, and this was long before the supercharger version of the Darkness.
Yeah, but this was based on when the leak to Skylander Superchargers on an Amazon on an Amazon page, there was a leaked description of what Skylander Superchargers was going to be like. It's about some sort of darkness or chaos trying to devour all of Skylands. I was like, reminds me a lot of Galactus and Unicron, and creatures who devour worlds. And this bit over here was also inspired by Dexter's Lab's parody of Galactus, where Monkey has to take down this Silver Surfer dude, and this Galactus guy was trying to eat the world, etc.
Why wasn't he a Sky guest? He's perfect, and a chance to use a guest sea vehicle.
And although it was not confirmed, I imagined what a Sky Meebo guest star her driving a sea vehicle would be like. Have Yoshi with an egg launcher, bit of a tongue attack, and have him in a sea vehicle, stuff like that. I'm sure a lot of you would probably prefer him more in a land vehicle, but I thought the sea could use some love for a change. I don't think they can get Pokemon because like Kirby, he's they're not fully owned by Nintendo. There's also the Pokemon Company you got to worry about.
At first, BRR didn't think about buying the Eon's Elite, but then he decided, you know what, might as well do so. That's when he drew us like this.
Yeah, basically I just you fiddle around with my flash tool with the shadings and stuff to try and give off an Eon's Elite flow.
I wanted to do the same thing Wrecking Ball did, although I don't have that many spikes.
Also, Raptor, if you eat smash hits, well, it might melt or crumble to dust because you're a lava monster. Add. 2016.
Some people are afraid of chompies, some people are afraid of sheep. Personally, I'm afraid of being poor.
Yeah, what's worse, chompies or sheep? Or maybe or worse, they're mages.
Good thing I got a girlfriend and she doesn't have the Midas touch. Besides, gold sinks in the sea
gold sinks in the sea anyway. I've learned about this in Aladdin and the King of Thieves. And yes, I do often have Trigger Happy having the hots for the Golden Queen, but it turns out Chaos has the hots for the Golden Queen in the Academy show.
Apparently, I didn't know there was a voice acting and video game strike in 2016 and 2017. Probably explains why my voice sounded different in Imaginators.
Yes, it's true. And back in 2016 to 2017, there was indeed a voice acting and video game strike, saying that the voice actors were being underpaid and they were working their butt off for little pay for how many voices and lines they have to record when doing voiceover work, especially if even a few scenes require more voice recordings than, say, video games or even a movie. I don't know how many video games were affected back then, but I know the effect it had in at least 2 games. Skylanders Imaginators and Injustice 2. For Skylanders Imaginators, many of the voice actors from the previous games who had their lines reused in Imaginators were uncredited, including Kevin Michael Richardson as Stump Smash and Tree Rex, John DiMaggio as Washbuckler and Wallop, Rob Paulson as Smash Hit, Tara Strong as Flashwing, Gray Delisle as Smolder Dash, Laura trying to remember anybody else. Josh Duhamel as High Volt and Superchargers, etc. And the ones that are credited are either the new voice actors like Charlie Adler, Keyston John, Hinden Walsh, etc. And Spyro's, even some of the Skylanders voice actors have been replaced, including Spyro's voice actor. Instead of Josh Keaton, it's Matt Mercer. Although you can still hear Keaton's archive recordings for Nightlight and Spry in Imaginators. I mean, if you're playing in the first 2 games, you hear Spyro. He goes all fired up, and in Imaginators, when you place him in his figure in there, he'll go all fired up. You can tell that was re-recorded. And as for Injustice 2, they recorded for so many lines, but some of them are reused. Like, how many times do you hear Gorilla Grodd say, "If you're not with me, you're dead," or Batman saying, "You need a new catchphrase," or trying to think any other reused dialogue, like Sub-Zero goes, they say something's bad, and Sub-Zero goes, "Of that I am painfully aware." This is especially noticeable when some of the base characters are interacting with the DLC characters. Kevin Conroy did not record any new lines. During when interacting with the Ninja Turtles, they were all reused. Especially when interacting with Michelangelo. It's like, "Cowabunga, I'm fighting Batman." "You need a new catchphrase." "No way, dude, it's a classic." Or, "There is much rage in you," says Atrocitus. "I get angry, so what?" says Raphael. "Perhaps a red ring is in your future." "Name's Donatello. Who are you?" "I am Sub-Zero, Grandmaster of the Lin Kuei. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence." Something like that. And keep in mind, this was years before Kevin Conroy passed away. In fact, it was the same year Adam West passed away. And I was hoping for a Grey Ghost premiere skin for Batman. I I don't know. Name me another game that was affected by the voice actor in video game strike of 2016 and 2017. What did it happen to the other games? Anyways,
I wonder if it's possible to have two different Spyros in the same universe. Does anyone want BRR to make an animation on that?
this was me attempting to. When I saw that Crash Bandicoot and Dr. Neocortex were playable in Skylanders Imaginators, this got me an idea. If there's going to be a Skylanders 7 or a Skyland or a future Skylanders game, perhaps they should have an alternate multiverse thing and have classic Spyro have his own Skylander figure and have Ripto be playable for the first time. Keep in mind, this was long before Crash Team Rumble, which was also made by Toys for Bob, the creators of Skylanders. And I thought since the first adventure pack was Thumpa Wumpa Islands, I thought this one, the adventure pack, would be the Dazzling Dragon Realms. Or maybe not Skylanders, but maybe not Classic Spyro, then perhaps Hunter. In fact, I heard they were supposed to include Hunter in Skylanders Giants, but negative feedback of Spyro caused them to bail out with that idea and focus more on including new characters.
I say Stink Bomb was a better comparison. Or maybe Blast Zone. Or Crash Bandicoot.
It's basically doing a voice actor joke. Hot Dog and Classic Spyro shared the voice of in fact, Classic Spyro had 3 different voice actors. In the first game, he was voiced by Carlos Alazraqui, who would later play Hot Dog. And he was also in the second games in Ripto's Rage, Year of the Dragon, Enter the Dragonfly, the Reignited Trilogy, Nitro Fueled, and Crash Team Rumble. He would be voiced by Tom Kenny, who would later play Stink Bomb, as well as T-Rex, Hothead, and Hot Dog in the commercials. And in A Hero's Tale and Shadow Legacy, he'd be played by Jess Harnell, who also played Blast Zone, Flip Wreck, as well as Crash Bandicoot. And funny enough, Carlos Alazraqui and Tom Kenny also used to voice Crash Bandicoot in a couple of commercials. In fact, let me just, if you remember the first game, you hear that style used to sound like this. I feel fired up, boss. And Crash, when he was voiced by Carlos Alazraqui, he would sound like, Hi, I'm Crash Bandicoot, the super marsupial, the wanderer from down under, the rocket with a pocket. You may remember me from my last video or something like that. But when he was voiced by Tom Kenny, he's like, is this rain ever gonna stop? I forgot what a sun looks like. We should go on vacation, somewhere warm, somewhere sunny. Dragon Shores. And keep in mind, this was the same year as his other most well-known role, SpongeBob SquarePants. I heard Tom Kenny also played a Crash at one point. It was in an E3 ad, an E3 exclusive ad. It was never fully recorded back then. It was poorly recorded. And of course, Spyro would be played by Jess Harnell in The Hero Tale, and it sounds like, Nasty Nork. Didn't I hate that guy years ago? Huh. What are dark gems? And back then, Jess Harnell sounded more like, yeah? Yeah, and probably I should have. And in fact, I also toyed on this idea again in one of my animations where I have Spyro trying to figure out what to dress up for Halloween, and I ended up having him dress up as Black Rhino Ranger because he's voiced by me in my animations, along with almost everybody else.
How was I supposed to know that somebody was giving me a rude pat on my back? And I swear it means donkey.
I don't know if I should put this, but I think that's the safest swear I can use. I feel like that's the safest swear I can use. I mean, I mean, I have heard this word before in some PG films, and even some, and heck, I even hear Pixar use it at one point. And Shrek even said it, and that was U for Universal rated in England. And yet Shrek says, "Well, I have to save my ass." and even it's like and when Donkey drank some potions, like, do I look any different? And Push is like, you still look like an ass to me. I plan to do something more with that joke later down the line, and I think that's probably the only word I can get away with the YouTube's current system. Now I do remember that Dingle got away with one of the B words in Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time, and I did an entire video compilation on that with several characters like Patrick, RoboCop, Kyle's mom, the Louds, and others, and even did some animation on my reaction to that. Anyways.
Perfect pet for Terrafin. How come they don't make four-legged Skylanders anymore?
Yeah, that's a good question. How come after Trap Team they stopped making four-legged Skylanders? There was no four-leggers for for Superchargers and no four-leggers for Imaginators. Even though you can still drive a vehicle when you're playing as a four-legged character like Spyro, is there really a restriction on making four-legged characters in Imaginators? Did they not think this true on that part? Now I have heard that they were supposed to make so according to the producers of Skylanders, they were supposed to have a year 2 on Imaginators and have a year 2 or a sequel to Imagineers and have it focus on the four-legged characters, including dragons. Imagine what the senseis would have been like at the time. And I came up with this because I always thought as not really as a character, but I think of it more as a toy, like a toy for Terrafin to go off hovering above his head if he was to be in Skylanders Battlecast, and I summon a card that summons this above his head, maybe to strengthen him or to give him bigger defense, or etc.
Used to be so naive back in Skylanders University. Now, you're insane.
Yeah, in fact, did you know that when in my Skylanders University animations, I had Pop Fizz a little bit more intelligent and less insane than how I usually portray him in my animations, and he used to be all over the place, especially dancing with the cross-eyed one from My Little Pony. I thought Derpy and Boomer were meant to be.
Well, it was 8 years after his last game, but I'm glad he came back in Skylanders.
My attempt to replicate Crash Bandicoot in his Skylandery look. He looks. Be glad it's not like his Crash of the Titans counterpart, where he's all scruffy and stuff like that. In fact, he's more like his classic looks.
Oh, BRR, we're 4 years late with the drawing. Then again, I only had 3 reposes compared to Trick and Kill.
So this was when I decided to, when I once drew the Skylanders in the when I drew the Skylanders Series 3s, the Series 3s in Swap Force, I thought they were alter egos of Skylanders. I thought Ninja Stealth was an alter ego. I thought Mega Ram Spyro was an alter ego of Spyro, but it turns out they were Wild Power reposes of the Skylanders. And it makes me wonder, how come the Series 2 Skylanders did not have any unique names? So if you go on DeviantArt and click on the Series 2 Skylanders and read the descriptions, I did give them some fan names. Like I gave Zook the Fruit Munition Zook, right? Spyro as Red Wing Spyro, maybe Lightning Strike Cinder for Series 2 Cinder, and Rattata Golden Gun-ish Trigger Happy. Rapid Fire Trigger Happy, something like that. Here we are in 2017, the first year without a brand new Skylanders game, although there were updates.
She was so scary. In fact, she was so scary that I kind of have a crush on her.
I should have probably reworded on that part because I forgot. Spark Butterfly is 14. How old is Trigger Happy? Well, it hasn't confirmed the age. I mean, it is ambiguous whether or not he is a grown up or a teenager. But I kind of here's the thing: in my universe, all the Skylanders are adults. Some of them do act a bit childish, like SpongeBob. He's a grown up in a child's body, and oof, that oh dear. I am terribly sorry. I should have not added that line in. It makes Trigger Happy, oop dear. I'm sorry. I'll never have Trigger Happy say something like that again. I swear. I should have said Moon Butterfly instead. Oof. But I still like this picture of Star hugging Trigger Happy. I shouldn't have given Trigger Happy that particular line when reacting to this picture. It's just very wrong of me. Sorry, I had a bit of a slight outage. Continuing on.
Doesn't she have something like that from where she came from? That place has a lot of corn stuff.
Yeah, apparently I didn't realize that they did mention corn dogs in the Face the Music episode. You know, the one that had the Patrick Slump performance of Who is the maid with a buttercup hair? Do 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 dances on hair. And she's a rebel princess, she's a shooting star, and lighting up the store. And who is the maid with who is the boy in the earthly attire? The prince of the princess's deepest desire. Star Butterfly is in love with her best friend. And his name is Marco Diaz. What the heck is going on over here? So it was wrong for me to include a corn dog.
I remember doing this for the first Four Figures company to make a statue of me as a Skylander. Unfortunately, that statue never came to fruition.
So, sorry, I'm just experiencing a little bit of a blackout. So basically, I was at Crystal Blazer asked me to try and get a Skylanders statue made by First Four Figures to be made, and I try my dang hardest to make it as grand to advertise it as possible, make as many pictures to promote it, help people vote on getting it yes. Of course, the votes are mostly no, but they said we won't bother with the no's. We just want as many yeses as possible, and we tried that for a while. I tried my dang hardest to include as many as make as many pictures and have the characters. And I keep going. And in fact, this is just one of the pictures. I had Sparrow in these different poses, and Trigger Happy is trying to figure which type of pose, and Sparrow's like, Trig, I've been sitting here for 6 hours. Isn't this the pose you want? And I had other types of I had other pictures made, like Spyro having a thumbs up with the first Four Figures, and I even had this thing called vote for yes on the Skylander statue. You get a free Skylander classic Spyro lollipop. Of course, I still kept getting negative reaction, negative comments. I try my dang hardest to remain positive. I just wanted to say, that'll still, it doesn't bother me. So I kept checking every day, and then suddenly the people who made the First Four Figures company, they disabled the comments on that section. It was grabbing too much hatred, and the voting increased from like 450 to 700 because of how big the thing was getting, the Facebook thing was getting. So we decided to abandon it and not go with this again. Although I still had fun with the pictures I made.
I got an album that's very similar to this one, except it was more TV related.
So basically, this is my picture of cheese sandwich exploding the oven full of bakery and stuff. It's calling it bakery oven. It's a homage to his voice actor Weird Al Yankovic and his compilation album, the TV album. An album that features songs that that is television related, like Bedrock Anthem, UHF, Frank's 2000-inch TV, and I'm on cable TV, and several others. Yes, I'm hoping to do a food album parody, and it might be SpongeBob related because the artwork for the food album was done by Doug Lawrence, the voice of Plankton.
If only we can travel back in time and introduce the light and dark elements at the very beginning of Skylanders, what would the swap force be like?
Sorry, I'm getting another blackout. So over here we have Solar Stample and Melee Phantom. They're basically my attempts to make my very own Skylanders of Swap Forcers of the light and dark element. I have another batch there for roll, and their unique abilities are to stomp. I have another batch, and their unique ability is to roll. And one of them is named Solar Stample, who's a robot that is powered through solar power. He's got a laser thing. And Melee Phantom, who's an elephant, and he works in the shadows, and he swings his trunk and stuff. Or he shoots phantom fog out of his nose, etc. And he can stomp like with his feet.
One of Black Ranger's many creations from Skylanders Imaginators. It's a shame the creator app has been removed from the App Store.
Basically, one of my Skylanders Imaginations creations, Dark Thought. I had him with the Cthulhu, and I had that thought thingy, which is an unlockable item in Imaginators when you defeat somebody.
Pop Fizz? Fizz Pop. Popple Fizz? Fizzle Pop.
Just toiling with the idea of Fizzle Pop Berry Twist, aka Tempest Shadow's name from My Little Pony the movie.
Somebody call Activision. If we can't have another Skylanders game, why not just give each of us our own franchise?
Very unlikely at this rate, considering that Toys for Bob is now its own independent company and Vicarious Visions is now a part of Blizzard called Blizzard Albany. All we have left is Beanox, and they're busy with Call of Duty stuff. Like I said, very unlikely. In fact, one day I might do a tier list of which Skylander should perhaps have its own game, which one probably can, and which one I don't think can ever.
Some say there's a side effect whenever you're traveling by portal, like your intelligence increases.
So basically,
Why not just give each of us our own franchise? Some say there's a side effect whenever you're traveling by portal.
I made this picture because I had a bit of a theory to why Crash Bandicoot had his intelligence raised. Let's say when you go to a portal or something like that, you start to feel an alteration, like you suddenly become more intelligent. It's basically what happened with Superman. On Krypton, everybody who's human-like acts normal, like humanish and stuff, nothing much. But when a Kryptonian enters the atmosphere of Earth, their powers start to alternate. They gain super strength, they can fly, and they have laser vision. I don't think this was ever established in when anybody was on Krypton. I thought when Crash entered that portal that took him to Skylanders, his intelligence was raised and he became more of a fast talking now comes with an Australian accent provided by showrunner Eric Brotches and later Rise Darby. Say, mates, you think you can help me get back to my home dimension so I can save Tanya from Dr. Neo Cortex?
Your intelligence
And although it's unlisted, you can still find it on my playlist of unlisted copyrighted stuff, where I have Crash Bandicoot, Dancing with the Captain Underpants theme song by Weird Al Yankovic. Basically, also made as a celebration over the fact that Crash Bandicoot, the NC trilogy, is coming soon at the time. 2018. Here's the last year for this video.
May we salute to the man who inspired Black Runner Ranger to make his own animations on YouTube, Deviantart, and Newgrounds. May he rest in peace.
Basically, my drawing of Ed Gord, the creator of Eddsworld. It was a sketch. May he rest in peace.
I sure hope Activision gives me my own.
It was actually also made as a transition, a part of a video I made where I list my top 12 inspiration artists, cartoonists, and illustrator inspirations. And Ed Gord I sketched Ed Gord as a transition to my number one, which is Ed Gord. I probably should do a 2.0 version, a version 2 of that video, because there are some things that have moved down a bit. Like maybe Lauren Faust is moved down a little bit, because although I do enjoy her work in Equestria Girls, I'm not too fond of her work in DC Superhero Girls G2. Again, another power outage. What gives? Anyways, the reason why I have what was I now another candidate for probably one of my top 10 or top 12s is Dana Terrace, the creator of the Owl House. He's another inspiration for me now.
Maybe a presence of my girlfriend.
Anyways, over here, he says Gil Grunt at the Gilman military. I think Trigger Happy and Gil Grunt have the biggest potential to have their own game based on their backstories and stuff like that, but at this point it's still unlikely, because what's happening with Activision at the moment, with Microsoft and Toys for Bob and Vicarious Visions and Beanox have what they're doing at the moment. Like I said, it's not impossible, but it's unlikely.
How on earth is she able to hold on to that hook? Doesn't it fall off or something?
Yeah, apparently, did you know that in My Little Pony, some of the characters they hold everything with their hooves? Heck, there's a moment when Applejack was holding onto a stick of marshmallows with just one hoof. It was 3 sticks. Thanks. How the heck did they hold on to something with just your hoof? I remember this was toyed with in that fan animation of Dr. Hooves meeting Derpy. It was like, how do you hold on? He was having this experimental pen thing. It's like, how do you hold on to these things? I can't seem to grasp onto it. Something like that. But other times they hold on to things with their mouths. Like Scootaloo was using a pencil to write. I remember Twilight, when she entered the Equestria Girls, she held on to a pencil with her mouth, etc. That.
I know she's a prankster, but isn't this a little extreme? I mean, Stinky is usually a boy's thing.
Basically, one of my many Loud House pictures, which reenacts several Ed, Edd and Eddy episodes. Hence, in fact, this one is based on Fool on the Ed, where Luann was about to unleash the El Mondo Stank Bomb. And don't worry, fellas, I'm still working on the Ed, Edd and Eddy crossover reenactments. I'm gonna do a fistful of Ed. The Eds are coming. Look before you Ed, and then Ed and Eddy's big picture show. I might actually do I think I have an idea for a crossover reenactment series on that part, which may require several animators or ideas or something like that.
Unless you're Glenn.
You want to see the original thumbnail of the Double Dragon Decade? Well, here it is. Keep in mind, it's just a prototype.
In fact, I actually made this picture for other artists to try and copy and replicate into something better. And I actually got some pretty good ones. I actually did get some pretty good Because the best one you'll see later.
I know I love money, but this is way too stereotypical. And besides, do people read newspapers anymore?
Actually, here in 2024. I still see some newspapers being sold, although people just use. In fact, I did remember reading a newspaper last year where a band from the UK called 1975 came to Malaysia, did their performance. They were planning for a few more days in Malaysia, but then they did something unthinkable. They same-sex kiss, the LGBTQIA plus kiss to help support LGBT and go against the anti-LGBTQIA plus laws of Malaysia. That didn't go so well. The actual folks, the actual LGBTQIA plus folks of Malaysia got offended, and the government just wasn't having any of it, so they canceled the rest of the tour. There is a way to spread awareness that LGBTQIA plus should be respected in every single country, including Malaysia. This is not the way to go, let's say. Also, this over here is based on the Ed, Ed, and Eddie episode Read All About Ed, where Ed Double D makes a newspaper launching machine.
I could have been Neptune, king of the sea. Then again, I am a lava monster.
Based on the Ed, Ed, and Eddie episode, I'm trying to remember. Was it 16? I'm trying to remember what the episode is. It's not Stuck in Head. Never mind. I can't remember. It's the episode where Double D was sleepy and the ads try to make a sea ranch. And you can remind me what the episode is in the comment section. I have Trigger Happy as Eddie, Sparrow as Double D, and Gilgrunt as Ed. Although really, I should probably have Eruptor as Ed, Gilgrunt as Double D, and Trigger Happy as Eddie. Oh wait, I forgot. Eruptor cannot touch water.
Just a bunch of kids and their imagination. In fact, I used to do something like this as a kid.
My Little Pony Cutie Mark Crusader take on the Ed, Ed, and Eddie episode Dawn of the Eds, where Scootaloo is Eddie, Squeety Belle is Ed, and Apple Bloom is Double D.
Wait, I thought in one episode she didn't like wood, but then there's an entire holiday revolving around a stump. Make up your mind, writers.
Yeah, I actually noticed a bit of an somebody pointed out a flaw in the comment section when I made this picture. So according to in one particular episode of Star vs. the Forces of Evil, Star saw Marco chopping wood, and she's like, "Oh, he hates wood. I hate wood too." But then later, there's an episode all about Stump Day, which is basically Muni's equivalent of Christmas. In fact, Star Butterfly was born on Stump Day. And funny enough, her voice actress Eden Sher was born on Boxing Day, a day after Christmas. But getting a little bit off topic, and somebody in the comment section says plot twist: Plank was the descendant of the stump. That would explain a lot.
I don't know about you guys, but she is way too stupid to live. But I cannot deny her taste in fashion.
Okay, maybe that was a bit mean for me to say towards Lenny. Even though, yeah, she is not the sharpest tool in the shed, I wouldn't go that far. I shouldn't be that harsh. Also, this is based on the Ed, Ed, and Eddie episode A Boy and His Ed, where Ed was chewing a book, tries to spit it out. Oh no, my brain came out! That's too big to be your brain, Ed!
That's our reaction to 100 of Black Rhino Ranger's pictures.
So next up, I even asked my folks to do some remakes of my fan arcs and see which one is the best.
Maybe we can ask some people to remake some of Black Rhino Ranger's drawings?
Not a bad idea. We'll surely get some good reactions out of it, right?
Let the bonus remaking reactions begin.
Yeah, the bonus remakes.
They are looking down. Seriously, what are they looking at?
Yeah, I'm not sure why they're looking up. It's just something.
Good thing I don't have a tail of my own. But does my girlfriend Remember, the superhero squad only has 4 fingers. I can see a
See,
fly
there is a
in the
fifth
shape
on each
of
on
He gets
Dipple.
hair. How come I don't get hair? Can my hair grow fruit too?
Black Brother Ranger must be so proud to have a portrait of him. His mascot, that is. They say that dragons are better than dinosaurs.
Don't have
but
much to
that's
say,
a
really.
for you. Dinosaurs did exist. Dragons did not. Unless you're counting Komodos. You're so
Why did I make Gilgort blush? Is he in love or something?
Donkey Kong and Bowser weren't chibied in superchargers. Fun fact, Spyro officially had 8 voice actors. Most Skylanders have only about 1 or 2.
Oh, I think this is one of the artists where I used to associate with me a lot, but then somebody informed me that he did something terrible, thus I have to keep my distance from him. Like I said, it's a similar situation with it or even Star Giant Productions.
You had to remake this one. You had to really remake this one. Somebody please hide.
Now this is the one I want to talk about. Like I said, this is probably the best remake of a thumbnail that I have ever gotten from a fan. It may not, I mean, sure, it's not Skylandery. I mean, it's classic Spyro and Legend of Spyro Metaphor, but it's definitely something I really enjoyed. And it's a great thumbnail for me to use for my final part of my final part of my Double Dragon decade, which took me a total of 2 years to make overall because of how much detailing and the animation and I wanted to be as grand as possible.
Used to sworn.
And to end this video,
And that's about it. That's all I got for this video.
Oh, that wasn't it. That was
Yeah, this was just a random fart joke I did. It was borrowed from Billy and Mandy's Big Bully Adventure.
fee for this video. Tell us what you think about it in the comments. And happy 10th anniversary of BRR on Deviantart. Keep up the good work, old chap.
And this ending, I based it on the intro to Mickey Mouse and Friends, an anthology series that includes various classic Mickey Mouse shorts compiled into a TV series. In fact, they even had some shorts from the feature-length films like Make My Music's Casey and the Bat and the Fantasia's Sorceress Apprentice. And these are characters I included in the center here with me in the middle and Optimus Prime at the back, Scorpion from Mortal Kombat, Twilight Sparkle from My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, Scorpion from Mortal Kombat, Optimus Prime and Transformers, Spyro from Skylanders, Eddie from Ed and A, Star Butterfly from Star vs. the Forces of Evil, SpongeBob SquarePants, Crash Bandicoot, Lincoln from The Loud House, Laszlo from Camp Laszlo, and Billy from The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. And it was I probably should have included a few more characters. But I didn't have a lot of time. So yeah, I think I'm gonna pack it in, fellas. Originally, I was gonna do the other anniversaries, but I can see I've spent a long time talking about this, like over an hour and 40 minutes. I think I should take a break. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you all in the next commentary. I hope you've enjoyed this video.